Chapter 15. Reward and Gratitude. Back at the Earth Space Station. It's been 3 months since Ellie started working on the SAMs, and we had to decide on how to respond to the slave problem. Matt and I see the problem is one of secrecy. The loonies must take the lead on this. And they can be assisted by the Butts. We approved the Butts' offer to send their people to Ellie's and Arlo's Armada group. The problem is all connected. If we start the war, it will involve the TAMs, all the species in the Federation, the SAMs, the slave wholesalers and retailers, and the enslaved species as refugees, all at the same time across 400 mly of space. Roger suggested a black swan on the slaves, and Beetle liked the idea. But we disagreed on the timing of the event. Matt, Amy, and I talked about this very early on, right after we solved Klamen's problem. Chris told me that the meteor ended up being deflected, but the Laos decided to remain as an invisible planet. Chris also told us that she talked to Mo about the ship's con. Mo talked to Woody and explained we were too shy to ask for anything. Woody mentioned to Klamen that Matt and I have not asked for anything after preventing harm to their colony planet and the riots he brought over. Klamen was extremely grateful but told Woody he does not know how to express this gratitude. Woody suggested ships. Klamen decided to give us only 2,000 ships because he has very few ships. He asked Trio to give us 4,000 ships as a show of gratitude. Trio agreed because he has an ongoing request that Matt look for Leo colonies. They also offered, actually insisted, to provide 500 Leos for each ship. We realized that they may not know how to negotiate, but they know how to be grateful. We did not con them to give us these ships, they gave the ships freely and proudly too. Okay, I admit, it was Chris who started with Mo and Matt, and I talked to her about this. But then they could just be wanting to travel and explore with the Armada. When we got the ships, we met with Billy, Roger, Stella, and General Isabella Moreno, the new Federation Armada head, at Billy's space station office. I called this meeting because we suddenly were given 4,000 Leo ships. Matt started. As usual, direct to the point, which annoys me. No drama, and he even used suddenly like we just got them. We got them a month ago. We decided not to mention the other 2,000 ships from Klamen. I think it's time to increase the Federation Armada by 2,000 ships. Matt continued and looked at me. I know these ships will be hard to fill, so we will lift the 2,000 personnel per ship restriction and will just allocate them according to the allocation Roger did at the start. I would suggest you increase the science and exploration ships to 20% of the Federation Armada. There is just too much technology at the Olympus colony that need thousands of minds to understand, process and innovate on. I said. John and I also talked about increasing the US Armada by 2,000 ships as well, Matt said. The group was quiet. It was a long pause. I think we have a problem, Roger started. 2,000 ships means 4 million people at 2,000 personnel per ship. Right now we barely have 500,000 people and are having a hard time recruiting, Isabella said. What if we add loonies, Laos and Butts to the crew? Maybe up to 500 per species? And the humans can just add 800 people? Remember, the Leos' condition was that they send 500 of their people per ship? I asked. John, 4,000 ships at 800 humans is still 3.2 million people. Add the administrative and logistics needs of the Armada, Billy said. It's not something you need to do immediately. But towards that number, Matt said. Also, we have to create an Armada Officer Training Academy at New Earth so we can train our future officers, I said. I like that. But I would suggest we put one also in Olympus, Stella said, and I nodded. Frankly, I would recommend that we do away with the Federation Armada and the US Armada and just create a one-human Armada of all the Earth countries, and they only report to the Armada Council. It will simplify administrative and logistical issues, Isabella said. I agree with Isabella, this way deployment would be more cohesive, Stella said. I think that will work only if all the Federation members agree. Remember, the ships were part of the Federation con and now we are taking that away from them, Roger commented. I mean, draw from our existing Federation personnel. Then we don't have to look for too many people. The Federation can keep their ships and go on to protect the Federation. And if we mix loonies, Laos and Butts, we may just need to recruit less, at least for the 3 Armada groups, Isabella suggested. Also, we can just send the first 200 ships to Alan, then the next 200 to Ellie, then the next 200 to Arlo, Stella said. I think that will work. Just to be clear about it, we only pay for humans, the loonies pay the loonies, the Butts pay their people, and the Leos just do not get paid by their government. The salaries, I mean, Billy clarified. The TP line revenues are increasing, but our Armada is expanding more than the revenues are able to support. This is nothing new, but if we are able to increase trade between the loonies and the Butts, maybe we increase the TP traffic and earn more. Also, there is going to be a breakthrough with the Leo machine that creates food for them. The loonies and humans in Olympus has figured out a way to create simple food like pasta, sugar, and flavors. They have also developed basic chicken meat, basic pork and beef meat, basic fish meat. And this will add to commerce and substitute some of our food costs, Matt explained. We should institute a program to sell off lots of our air and sea assets. This way we can release the commanders of these air and sea assets. This will shift the cost from the US military to the Armada, Roger said. Let me talk to the NATO leadership about recruitment. At least they don't have to pay for a bigger military since, like you said, the cost is now borne by the Armada, Isabella said. The first 400 ships can help deal with the slaves when we decide to liberate them, Stella said. Also, the loonies have finished building 5 huge ships, 10 times our present Leo ships. They will name them as John-class ships. Why John? Matt asked. Why not? I scolded them to do the ships, I said. Don't worry Matt, they are building 7 station-level ships 10 times bigger than the John class, or 100 times our Leo ships and name it after you. I think they realized the John class is not big enough, Stella explained. Great. Bigger than the John class, Matt said. Dick, I said. They intend to give the Armada Group commanders these Matt-class ships as the lead ships, while the second-in-command will get the John class of ships, Stella explained. That means there would be more John class of ships than Matt class of ships, I said, and they all laughed. John, Matt, you guys don't get it. This is a practical joke on both of you, Billy said. Matt and I laughed loudly. Chris suddenly appeared. Hey, what's up? Matt said as he stood to hug her. I stood and hugged her as well. Stella hugged her as well. Good that you all are here. You remember how we dealt with Klamen's colony, right? We set up TP ships all the way from Trios to their colony. Now they are traveling back and forth among the 2 colonies. That's good, right? But they also found out about their need for art. And good food. Now the space station is packed to the roof. The art class went from 6 people to 120 per class. Chris said exasperatedly. You need more artists? I asked. Matt and I talked about this right after our meeting with Klamen. Not only artists but farmers, engineers, chefs, architects. Practically anybody that does art in their work, which is everybody including the military. And a bigger place? How can we do this if they are not going to pay us? Stella asked, realizing a huge problem. That's fine, we will bankroll their training, Matt said. They gave us ships anyway, he added. Just ask them to build 4 space stations and name it after Matt, me, and Amy. They will then have a place to study art. But locate them 2 at Klamen's and 2 at Trios, I said. Why 4? There's only 3 of you, Isabella asked. 2 for me, I said. No John, Chris, tell them the last one would be for Earth. To thank Earth for its artists. Besides, Trio already has 1 art space station, Billy said. Billy, you're becoming like John, Stella said. I guess he is becoming a con artist. I also realized he's the president, so he must have been born with it. Do you want me to talk to them? Matt asked. Both of you, Chris answered. Okay, I said. Matt gave the thumbs up. How about the people? Chris followed through. Let's start with universities across the globe, Stella said. You mean the students, right? Isabella asked. Yes, the students. The graduating or about to graduate students, Stella clarified. I think that will work. But we have to teach them how to teach, to convey their art, to talk to Laos, Chris said. Judge by their talent, then teach them how to convey their art, I said. One of the things I notice with the Laos is that they like to study, observe, try things, study again and try again, like the scientists they are. The best approach to these guys is show and a little bit of tell. Not a lot of tell, because they will not understand. Or not tell at all. Let them observe and ask questions, Stella said. I realized that too. And that is the reason why a class can have 120 attendees. They are just there to observe and then they move on. One teacher does not even talk to the students but talks with himself. Like 2 people talking with each other. He's actually one of the more popular teachers because of the things he talks with himself about. Not talk to but talk with, Chris said. I will write to the university presidents and tell them what I want, Stella said with some authority. Thank you, that will work. I have to go, Chris said and disappeared. Typical, Matt said. That would be Chris for you. What else? Billy asked. Yes, I almost forgot. There is this technology the Laos possess. It's not with Klamen or with Trio's colonies. It is in another Leo colony halfway between Klamen and their original home world. About 1.5 BLY away from Trio's colony. They have this portal, like a round door, so that when Laos pass through it, they get better. And if you pass through it often enough you can live longer. Like 400 years longer than our normal 100 years. You mean 500 years? I asked. Humans can live longer, up to 500 years, Matt said. And what's good about the portal is that it's easy to build. The technology is like subatomic waves amplified to quickly affect our cells. They automated the portal to look for abnormalities and adjusts these waves to target these abnormalities, all within the time you pass through, normally. Matt added. What if you're sick and have a lot of abnormalities? Stella asked. I think you have to pass by more, Matt said. Roger raised his hand. We have 4,000 TP ships that we can deploy along the way to that colony. We'll use your new Matt ships as soon as they are finished, and some John-class ships, to go there. Roger, you don't have to raise your hand. We're not in elementary school, Stella said. We just need to bring a lot of Laos and some riots to that colony, Billy said. And Chris too, Stella said. Roger, why don't you start going around and recruit some doctors and scientists to go along? Billy said. Stella would be better at this, Roger countered. Okay, I'll do it, Stella said. I have to go and get some more riots to bring over to them, Matt said. I have to stay home and take care of my son and my wife, I said, telling them I want to be left alone. Amy is pregnant? Stella asked. Yes, she is, Matt answered. Am I lucky or what? I exclaimed. The next week, we had our monthly meeting with Dr. Alec Majors and Dr. Destiny Storm. Matt chose a restaurant called Reckless in Seattle because he liked their food. Amy came with us. We came as soon as the restaurant opened in late afternoon. Alec, Des, what I will tell you is top secret, okay? You should never tell anybody unless we tell you. Matt started. We have information on how to make humans live up to 400 to 500 years or longer. Alec and Des moved closer but with disbelieving looks. I know it's unbelievable, but you only heard a small portion of the story. First, I will increase your pay to $18 million a year, each. That's unbelievable even to me, I added. Matt continued, I want you to take your best scientists with you, friends, colleagues, or even teachers or students that you know. But more importantly, people you can trust. Of course, they will all sign non-disclosures for us and for the government. Limit it to 100 for the both of you. It may take you months to be there, so pack for a long travel engagement. Matt looked at me. We will pay each of them $3 million a year, I said. We leave on Monday next week. Just let your second in command take over your jobs for the moment. Matt said. We're not going to get killed, right? Des asked. No, and you will be the first of the humans to live longer, I said. As usual, Matt left for the riot world to recruit some more people who can take advantage of the Leo dimension travel opportunities. Since they heard about Woody's group, 58 riots came this time. We met Des and Alec with the 100 recruits at the lobby of the lab office. Good morning, everybody. I started. First, thank you for agreeing to travel with us and thank you for signing the NDAs earlier. Then Olive told me that one of the men dressed in suit is not part of the group. I did not want to be bothered by this, so I just told Olive to leave the guy when we TP out. But TP him to the middle of the Mongolian plains. Olive teleported the group to our office in the UE space station where Matt was waiting. Greetings. Hi Alec, Des. Matt greeted. We will divide into 2 groups of 50 and I would like to tour one group around our space station while John will tour the other group. We will meet at one of the restaurants in this station. Is this where we will be working, Matt? Alec asked. No, we will be traveling 1,700 million light years to a planet where they have the technology. Des quickly reacted and said I will be dead by then. No, it's only 12 hours from here. I said. I think we're all going to die. Des told me. No, Des, in fact you have a marine and military contingent going with you. So I hope you'll feel secure. They will also die with me, Des said, and I just laughed. What if I say that 58 super smoothies will be going with you and will protect you every step of the way? Will you feel safe then? 58 super smoothies? And there are only 102 of you? I continued. Are you going with us? Des asked. No, I have to take care of my son and pregnant wife. But Matt will be going with you, I said. We're going to die without you, Des said, and I laughed out louder. At the ship we were surprised to find that Stella were sending 400 artists with us, another 400 scientists from Olympus, 400 loony scientists, 400 but scientists and 5,000 engineers and technicians, mostly from the military, some Federation Armada people. I think you are on point with adding these people, I told her. Good idea. Matt seconded. It's really because the trip is so long and I better establish more now than later. Actually there are 3 riot ships full of loonies, total maybe 6,000, Stella said. Also, Roger has 5 shiploads of provisions transferred to the riot ships yesterday, Stella added. The riots did not take all their 58 ships but left 20 smaller ships near Mars. They asked Olive to take care of the ships. The ships passed by Trio's planet to take on 20,000 personnel. Earlier, Beetle arranged for provisions for the trip and beyond be loaded by the loonies at Trio's planet. It was a practical joke Beetle did just so he can add more loonies to the trip. When Matt came back a month later, he admitted to me that the real purpose of the trip was to create a secret human colony far from our existing colonies but very integrated with our friends who can just turn the colony invisible and protected for all time. We have to send an armada to the area, I told him. Yes, 1,000 ships will be a good start. Who will command these ships? I asked. I see Ellie would be the point person for this, Matt said and added, also, we will ask them to be a combined colony, no species separation. I would like to see that, Amy said since she is the head of the Human Federation. I thought for a while. I think that would be good for the human psyche. They are literally coexisting with each other. Imagine the laws would have to be redrawn, I said. I think it will create a better mid-goal for humanity. Think about it. After several generations, say 200 years, the populace are now all telepathic and telekinetic. Of course, the telekinesis is still a work in progress as there are so many things to learn in the area. And this may take at least 100 years to develop to be useful for society. Machines will be less used and may be redesigned to cater to telepathic commands and telekinetic manipulation. This time my wife commented. But this will also create a class system of people who are advanced in their abilities and people who are not, I said. When the whole population is telepathic, they go through a rigorous training on moving things with the mind. After this, telekinesis would be more teachable and the humans shall have known the best approach to teach our people these abilities. Yes, there will be a class system but this will go away easy enough, Matt added. I said mid-goal, which is a goal or goalpost you have to go through for the next level of human civilization development. It also assumes all humans would have longer lives and more time to be better at this, Amy added.